Hey everybody, Mark Herman, aka LA Bengals fan on most of the major platforms, and I'm joined here as always with superfan Devin Circus and Jake Circus of the Jake Circus podcast, and this is Week 14's Jungle Talk preview. Yeah, I know it's yeah. I think didn't the network try to get out of this game? Wouldn't they try to flex out? They were thinking about it, and then
They couldn't because of the whole Simpsons Disney garbage.
oh, so they were kind of locked in. Yeah, all that animation.
Completely locked in.
Yeah, all right. Well, there you have it. So, before I forget, if you don't subscribe, please subscribe. It's all we ask. Support the channel. Hit the thumbs up on the analytics for us on the YouTube, and please hit the bell, and you'll get you'll know when our updates come in, our previews. We do a recap right after the game. This one we're a little late. We're doing it the next day just because of scheduling, but it's a Monday night game, so we're all good. And Jake, you do some amazing podcasts. Tell them where they could find your stuff.
Yep, Jake Circus Pod on Spotify. We're coming down to the end here. We got a month left of the NFL, and then obviously college football playoff stuff coming up. So stay tuned for that.
Yeah, no, I want to. I'm looking forward to your pick. So,
And his Sunday night podcast is fun because he does it at night after the Sunday night game's over.
right.
I'm a regular listener when I'm walking the dogs come Monday or Tuesday morning, but it's also fun. He sleeps in the wall next to me, so I get a sneak peek when I can hear it live through the walls. He doesn't realize how loud he is.
There you
So
go.
when he's excited, I hear him word for word, and it's kind of funny at 11 o'clock when I'm trying to fall asleep. I hear him through the walls, but they're good stuff.
There you go. So, so we have some Bengal news. Actually, I'm looking at the screen, and we all kind of not the same. Now, you guys have your Zach Taylor shirts, and then mine's that same color scheme. So it's kind of monochromatic here in terms of
There you
all
go.
black and orange. So, but we had some news. Clarence Mack was put on IR, so we signed what Cade York as our kicker going
Who's
forward.
Clarence Mack?
I mean, no, I'd say
Clearance
clearance.
Rack Mac, the Joe
Oh,
Garrett
Rack Mac,
five
yeah,
weeks.
yeah, yeah.
I'm like, I don't know a player named Clarence Mack.
Clarence Mack, Clarence Rack Mack, got put on IR, and I think we signed Cade York. I think he was the winner of the kicking tryout. So we get a Browns reject as our kicker.
But did you hear the big news on Cade York?
No,
So I'm guaranteeing it right now. I'm calling it right
he can
now.
play linebacker. Is that
No.
no? Okay.
Cade York is going to miss a field goal in the fourth quarter to decide the game.
Oh, okay.
Would you like to know why?
Why?
Do you know what Cade York's girlfriend does for a living?
I don't know. She's a stripper.
Close. She's a Dallas Cowboys cheerleader. She's already told him that she is on the visiting sidelines in the second and fourth quarter. And he even said in a presser yesterday, I'm excited for the second and fourth. I'll be able to kind of peek and give her a smile or two. True story.
Wow. All right.
I didn't see that. Wow.
There you go. So,
But
Kate
good for
York.
them. They both get to work in the same city and we'll go home together that night.
There you go. I'm surprised that Kay York has a girlfriend that's a Dallas Cowboy cheerleader. To me, that's the big headline. So, hey, kickers. Hey, if you're a guy who doesn't have the size or the speed, go out. If you're a kid, go out and kick footballs every day. You could be dating a Dallas Cowboy cheerleader, when you're even just not even on a roster. You're a kicker on the street looking for work. We'll kick for food, when you're standing there on the curb. So, well, all right, so that was one piece of news. The other piece, obviously, Logan Wilson, yeah, he didn't practice yesterday. That's because he was having a procedure done on his knee. So,
He's done for the year.
yeah, so he's done. They haven't officially put him done for the year, but I mean, when you see him on did not practice yesterday,
No.
and then you read, he had a procedure done to clean out his knee, so he's done. And then we cut Irwin, which led to a Joe Mixon tweet, and all this. So,
He
but
needs to he needs to seriously shut the hell up.
yeah, it's listen.
It's like, you know what?
You don't
It's
see
this
Josh
team.
Jacobs making jabs at the Raiders. He's just happy to be on the Packers, So
Right.
it's
Well, but the thing that bothers me the most is this team did him a solid I don't remember if they even went to him about restructure, taking less money, but they took nothing for him and sent him to a very good team in a
Yes.
great situation. Like they didn't do him dirty. It almost has flashbacks to when, Carson Palmer was running his mouth about the organization and Burrow and all that, and we were pissed at Carson and
Right.
uh, Jeremy Hill runs his mouth and then he gets backlash for the fumble. But Joe Mixon was not done dirty. This is a guy
No.
that had issues coming out of college, was drafted in the second round, has made a ton of money, got a couple contracts from the team,
Yes.
and
He
they
was
could have
paid.
held out to trade him for more and sent him off to Carolina or Jacksonville, whatever purgatory. But he was done well by this franchise, and I just don't get it.
Yeah. Well, so yeah, some people, it's one of those Herm Edwards don't hit send. Even if you're thinking it, type it, look at it, use that as therapy, and then leave it as a draft. Don't hit send. Don't hit
Yeah.
send.
Yeah.
So,
Hey, Mark, one more thing on
yeah,
the beginning of the injuries on McPherson. My first thought, and Jake and I talked about it, and I'm sure many Bengals fans thought the same thing. Let's hope that what I think it's a groin on him, right?
yeah,
Groin or hamstring. My first thought, let's hope that it's been lingering and bugging him all year long, and that's the reason why he
yeah.
was off, and that he's back to his old self next year.
Yeah, that's what we're gonna hope for. So, and if it was, I wish we would have known about it earlier, and maybe we would have made a kicking change or rested him rather than having it cost games. Clearly, the first Baltimore game was the hold. It wasn't on him.
No, it was the coach. It was the coach. I'm not going to let you keep
Oh
doing that.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
going
All
to
right,
argue with
yeah.
you
It
every
was the
time.
coach for not putting the ball in Burrow's hands. But yeah, that's another situation. You said you bring that up, so where I'm going to say this. So I'm watching the game last night, which was a very enjoyable game. Especially if you bet the over. It was very very enjoyable game, and you just can't help but kind of be envious of having Dan Campbell as your coach and the culture that's there and just the whole, it just makes me want Vrabel or somebody like that as our coach next year. It really does to kind of bring that
It's
kind of
funny.
culture and attitude. And then you watch Reader making plays and you're just shaking your head. It's like you broke up with your girlfriend and she's dating somebody else and you have to like go to an event and see him there. It's like, that's what it's like watching Reader play for them. You're just like, oh, yeah, we were with him. Yeah. So,
I got two thoughts on that. First, it's funny you bring up Campbell and Envy because I was going to bring that up. And yeah, the whole culture. I mean, the Lions franchise has been as low as us in for decades.
yeah.
I think I've brought it up before. I've got a buddy who's a diehard Lions fan, like, I am a Bengals fan, and we've always commiserated each other. And, we had our Super Bowl and they might get theirs. And we joked that one year, we'll get Bengals versus Lions in the Super Bowl and one of us will freaking win it. But my takeaway of Campbell was watching his post game, his game ball. I don't know if you watched that. There's two
No, no,
minutes.
I didn't.
Yeah, just everything about him and watching his game ball. Look, I love when we win and Zach Taylor gives out the game balls. It's fun, but there's nothing to Zach Taylor. And watching Campbell, he screams for 2.5 minutes. Every other word is an F bomb, and it's I love you. It's just awesome. Find it. If I see it again, I'll send it to you. But yeah,
Post it in the comments. Yeah, post it in the comments too.
yeah, I'm 100% envious of. In fact, I
Yeah,
texted my buddy last night after the game. I'm like, I'm jealous that you have Dan Campbell in this organization, and
yeah,
we thought we had it 3 years ago, but we don't.
yeah. No, we had a pretender. So
Yeah,
yeah,
and you know
it's
what? On the DJ Reader thing, what they made a choice. They did not think he'd be healthy enough. It was the wrong choice. I'm not.
yeah,
I hate it, but I'm not going to let it destroy me. They weren't confident in how healthy he'd be and how much money. They went with Rankins instead of Reader. It wound up being dead freaking wrong. Chalk that up to scouting or medical, whatever. But, sometimes choices don't work out. It could have worked out. It didn't. I don't know. I don't let that one beat me up. And I don't want to lose any more hair over
I
stuff
don't
like
beat
that.
up. You just like I said, it's you keep a straight face, you smile, but watching the game, you
Of
feel like the
course,
guy at the party seeing his ex-girlfriend with somebody else, and you're just kind of like,
100%.
yeah. And then you kind of
100%.
have your regrets. That's all. So I don't know,
Who
beating up was kind of harsh, but yeah, that's was kind of my two takeaways yesterday while I was winning money, so it was okay. Overall the night was good. So um yeah, and that's so. And then the other thing was they came out. I don't know what the injury report says. I don't think he's practiced, but Orlando Brown's doubtful for Monday.
He
We're
won't play.
probably he won't play. So we're
Yeah.
gonna that'll be it. And then the
And
other
I just read that T is going to have a hamstring issue develop on Sunday, so he won't
Oh,
play.
okay. No, T's playing for. I still hope we figure out a way. We've talked about it on the show. Jake brought it up initially, and I'm fully on board. We don't have anybody on defense that's worth paying, so why not keep the band together? You know. So I'm
Yeah,
hoping.
I mean, I at every single week it just becomes even more clear that that's what they should be doing.
Yeah.
Because every
What do you
single
think
week the
they do?
offense,
Jake, this lends into your expertise a bit. Hendrickson only has 1 year left, I believe. 30th birthday was yesterday. He demanded a trade for 24 hours last offseason. Is he going to get, does he have to get, not have to, but is he going to require an extension this offseason? What's going to happen with Hendrickson and what are your thoughts there?
they either extend him or they trade him. If they do anything other than those two things, it's malpractice. I mean, he's 30, so like it's one of those things where smart teams would trade him. If you think that you can win the Super Bowl next year, then maybe you add 2 extra years on that and just take the hit in 2 years. Uh, but yeah, he has 1 year left at $18 million for
That's
the
it?
the the cap number. Yeah, that's why he wanted an extension because his
Yeah.
cap number was really low. It's still the same deal he signed when he was a rotational guy with the New Orleans. He got a bag.
Yeah.
There was almost no guaranteed money in that contract. He's going to see the end of the contract and overachieve it by he
Well,
doubled
we
his
have we have
value from what we
21
signed
sacks
him
as a
to.
team, and Hendrickson has how many? I mean, that's
13, I think.
yeah, we have
13.
21 as a team.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
That's
he's
Jake, if
got
they, Jake, if they don't re-sign him and just choose to let him play out the last year, will it get ugly and he'll hold out, you think, in ugliness?
it would probably look a lot what the Trent Williams situation looked like in San Fran when they finally budged and extended him. Older guy, 1 year left. So I don't
right.
know. I mean, he's 30, so I wouldn't extend him because
Wouldn't?
what are the odds he's gonna do this next year? And you're really gonna pay him when you know he's not gonna be this player next year or in 2 years? But again, he's our whole defense, so
You
That's
know
tough.
what? I
good
pay him
That's a
for
job,
tough one.
Bengals.
give him his 2 years, give him his 2 year extension, sign T, and hopefully have a good draft and free agency. That's our hope.
Mark, I'd trade him. I'd trade him for a second round pick, third round pick.
Yeah, but we haven't made. The thing is do we turn that into something?
It doesn't
We're
matter.
really good in the second round.
Yeah, we are.
We never miss in the second round. I'm kidding. I'm
I know
It,
kidding.
you
it,
are. I know you are, Drew Sample. I'm going through. Yeah, I'm starting to go through all the second round.
Jackson Carmen,
Yeah. So
Billy Price.
yeah. Well, Billy Price was our first rounder, but we recovered with the BJ Hill trade. So
Yep,
we
100%.
salvaged that pick. That was pulling a rabbit out of a hat, and I'm being nice by using that metaphor and not another one. So
Yep.
all right, well this
He's a
game, you know
free
what?
agent too, isn't BJ? BJ's a free agent after the year, isn't he?
I believe so.
There's a lot of
Yes,
people that
he's walking this year.
see, that's
Yeah.
why this is a great time where we bring in a different coach and we let him help pick the ingredients for the salad he's going to make. You know what I mean? Rather than have somebody saddle it and you get Burrow. So by the way, we would be remiss if we didn't bring up the Batmobile, at least once.
He denied it yesterday.
So, okay. So is it true? Is it not true? I've seen pictures or reports that he paid like $3 million for a street legal Batmobile. And it's the Bale Batmobile, right? It's the Christian Bale
Yeah.
Batmobile, not
Yeah.
the Michael
Yeah.
Keaton
So the clip was
Batmobile.
from the Hard Knocks, which I haven't watched, and people are saying is very good. The AFC North Hard Knocks.
Yeah, I've been so
Yeah.
yeah.
Apparently he denied it yesterday.
Okay, so maybe he did, maybe he didn't. I don't know. It's not a real practical car to drive around town in. So I mean, if you're a
He's
billionaire and you have a
making
car collection, I get it. But
making $50 million
I
this
understand. No, I'm
year.
not
He
saying he
dropped.
can't afford it. I'm not saying that this is that he can't afford it. I'm just saying it's not a very practical car to be, it's the kind of thing that I would expect a billionaire who had 30 or 40 or 50 or more cars, collection to have. But I
Yeah.
just thought we would be remiss if we didn't. It was in the week's news feed. So
100%. 100%.
we'd be remiss. So this game, I've been looked at some stats. I only wrote down a few, but I mean the Bengals are averaging like 3.3 touchdowns a game. Dallas is allowing 3.7. So I mean everything says that this is a three, probably four touchdown game for us. Dallas's defense has looked better the last couple of weeks, but you
Yes.
can't overly be impressed about Dallas's beating up on Drew Lock and the Giants on Thanksgiving Day at home. That you can't get it. If you're a Cowboy fan, I can't imagine that you're puffing your chest over that. So, and all indications are, I mean, we're going to score points, and they're really soft against the run. This could be a great week for Chase Brown. This is a week where we might not ask as much out of Burrow you know. So I mean, all indications are we should win this game, and I'm gonna throw in this one in, and then you guys, I'll open it up to you. This game's in prime time. This is the kind of game where Burrow, I just see this team showing up for this game. National TV, Monday night. I just see them making a good showing. This is what concerns me, that we play good in three of the last five games, and they say, "Oh, look, see, we don't need to make any coaching changes." That kind of thing. That's a concern for me. But I think this is a game we win. And it's good pot and it's good numbers. So
You talk about all the makings. This game has, I agree with everything you said. It has the perfect makings for us to lose 38-37 and not punt once.
yeah, all right. So you think like a Washington? This will be a. I don't think the
You know
Cowboys put up
what? I don't
38.
even know what to expect anymore. I I don't even know, Mark. Like this team it's infuriating. We've seen, absolutely dominating offensive output against the Steelers, the Chargers, but this team has lost to the freaking Patriots. This team, I mean, we've talked about it ad nauseum. The Commanders doesn't look like a bad loss anymore. But Jake and I went through it yesterday. The Bengals' four wins are against four teams that are picking in the top 10.
Right.
Giants, Panthers, Raiders, Browns.
And this would
Four teams without a quarterback.
right.
Bryce looks solid now. Four teams that will be drafting in the top 10. Four teams that arguably, probably not the Panthers, will be looking at their next quarterback in the draft and have a chance to draft in the top 10. They've have not played a single complete game, but yet have the wide receiver one, the quarterback one or two, and the top edge in sacks. And we could go ad nauseum, wasting the window.
No, no.
I don't know. I had no idea what to expect from this team, but I expect nothing from the defense.
SVP on ESPN we were talking fantasy, and he put Burrow, Chase, and T on the screen and said, these three guys have just been fantasy gold. But they're 2-4 with, all the numbers that these guys are putting up. Our record is 2-4 when compared to the rest of the league, we should be 52-1 through 12 weeks. When your quarterback throws for 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. But, you look, I mean, Chase has an opportunity to maybe win the Triple Crown. And I mean, this is another reason why you should have extended him last year. He's not going to be any cheaper this year, if he wins the Triple Crown. So it's just unfathomable that we put up those kind of numbers, that these guys are like, Burrow and Chase are like the top in fantasy scoring. And yet they're 0-3 they've helped teams win their fantasy games, and we're 0-3 in those games. So,
yep. You name me a team, and I'll even put Chase Brown into the equation. Quarterback Joe Burrow, running back Chase Brown, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins at wide receiver. You name a team in the NFL that's even comparable to those four weapons. The closest you'll come is Philadelphia.
I was going to say the Eagles.
Done a ton. Devontae Smith has probably missed at least 3-4 games.
He's their T.
What's that?
He's their T. Higgins. You
Right,
have,
but he's
yeah,
nowhere near. You name, and granted, he's missed time too, but put Brown and Smith healthy, and that's the only team that's even close to the discussion. But this team proves time and time again that you can't just score 35 points and win the game. Look at what the Eagles have done on defense
defense.
and their offensive line, and they do a great job for Jalen Hurts can throw for 150 yards and one touchdown, maybe rush one, and they can blow somebody out 31-10.
Yep. So,
Bengals can do that.
no, no. So, but all indications are, we should win this game. This is a game I think we win. Like I said, the primetime factor I think brings, Burrow even more hyper focused. Jake, what are your thoughts on this? Your dad and I have been like rambling, so interject some Jake wisdom here
On which topic?
on
The
all any
the
of them.
the Eagles
We've
the
got
Eagles
there's a
comparison?
whole potpourri in front of you. Take your pick.
Um, hmm. I don't know. Tee me up for something. What do we want to
Well, I mean,
discuss? You guys have been
offensive
yapping a
numbers, their
lot.
defense has looked better, but not against the
Yeah, it
run. I mean,
has. I don't know if Diggs is gonna go. Diggs was hurt. He's been banged up kind of all year. Zach Martin, I think, is gonna like retire.
yeah,
He's
he's
done for the
done.
year. He's a free agent at the end of the year, so he might be done for good. No, this Cowboys defense is still not really any good. The Cowboys defense is kind of in a similar boat that we are. I mean, they have more young talent, I guess. Like there's not a better building block in the league than Micah Parsons. I would argue he's the most valuable non-quarterback in the league. Um, but other than that, like they've got guys who have been super impactful for their run that have kind of aged out. Demarcus Lawrence is out for the year. Um, Obviously Diggs is getting up there and he's can't stay on the field, and they don't really have a lot of young talent either, so they're in the same boat as we are. And they're playing with a backup quarterback. So I don't think they're gonna put up um upwards of 40 points on us,
No,
but you never know.
no, you never know with this team. I mean, we could do predictions. What do you want to do? What do you guys have anything more you want to throw out there in terms of
Should we talk about what the Bengals need to get in the playoffs? Because the
the
path is there, Mark.
Oh yeah, it is if you depending on what platform you go to, because there are a lot of delusional fans. I first of all, I don't think we run the table, but this team's not, yeah, and that's what would require. And even if we ran the table, we could still be out. But I don't see us beating Denver. The only way we beat the Steelers in the last week of the season is if it doesn't mean anything to them. Their seating may be set, and they may rest guys, or not take the game. So
The,
like I
the,
said. There are three winnable games here. I mean, here, Tennessee, and who knows the Browns. Well, we should be able to. You would think, given our secondary, but the secondary makes you question. You would think we would be able to bait Jameis Winston into some turnovers, but they're putting up points. We said this at the Browns game, we were really happy that Jameis wasn't the backup. If Jameis
we
comes
said it
in, we
before the
probably
game,
don't
yeah.
win that game.
My biggest
So
fear going into that game was that we were going to knock Watson out and get Jameis. They brought in DTR and it was great. But what's funny is that this Browns game, this could look very similar to, actually, it's not the last game I saw in Cincinnati, but you'll remember it, Mark, because you've got a memory of it. I was at I want to say at the time it was the third highest scoring game in NFL history. I want to say it was 52-51, and Delta O'Neal iced it with a pick and go with about a minute left. And that was my first ever Bengals game. The Browns Bengals this year could look very similar to that.
it could be a shootout. I mean, so we'll see. But even that game, even and when I'm grouping those three wins in, even that game is an iffy
Yep.
game. So
What's funny about it, just for shits and giggles, I am not sitting here talking about playoff possibilities because I would much rather see us lose out and have a top 10 pick, even if we were to win out. And it just goes to the case of you give us one or two of these other games that we should have had out of the eight that we've lost. Denver could absolutely lose out. Miami could easily lose two games. And the only team that I don't see losing anything is the Colts. I think the Colts could wind up getting, although they're two games back at Denver. But Denver's got a tough schedule the rest of the way, and the Colts play nobody. It would be something
The
if
Colts
the
play
Colts
Denver next week off the bye.
No, I know they have to win that one. But if the Colts win that game, they very easily could get that 7 seed because Denver still got some tough games, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Well, it wouldn't be easy, but they can.
Right.
So, but all right. So you want me to go first on the predictions?
Go for it.
All right. Well, I've got us 34-26. So once again, I don't think the Cowboys can keep up with us. They do have a great kicker, but if we can get ahead quickly, we might get Cooper Rush in pass mode and them abandoning the run. But I've got us 34. I think we put up our 4 touchdowns, 2 field goals. Maybe we go for a two. I don't know if Zach's going to be inspired by going for 5 4th downs like Dan Campbell did last night, but I think he takes some chances. I think it's prime time. I think we win this game, and I don't see the Cowboys, like I said, putting up 38 points on us. I just don't. I don't think that happens. So it would be if we lose this game. I'm going to say this: if we lose to Cooper Rush again, right?
Oh,
Didn't
you
we
took
lose
my
week
thunder. I was
two.
going to bring that up.
If we lose to Cooper Rush again, while we have Joe Burrow and they don't have Dak at this late in the season, might be the death blow to Zach if you go on prime time and lose this game. But like I
Ooh,
said, I think we
go
win this game.
Cowboys.
So what's that?
Then how about them boys?
How about them boys?
Go
Well,
Cowboys.
then they would have won 3 in a row and beat yet another losing team. So you know. So, all right. So I got 34-26. Put your score predictions in the comments. I'd like to see some of the people listening put your score predictions in. But go ahead. Whichever one of you wants to go next.
You want me to go, Jake?
I just saw something. The Bengals have 5 games left. Their over under on FanDuel is 7.5. So FanDuel thinks that they're gonna go 5-1 or 4-1
4-1. Wow.
finish the year.
And what is it?
I'll go.
Oh, they're giving us Dallas, Denver, Tennessee,
No,
and
they probably have
Cleveland.
us losing Denver and beating. They probably have us losing Denver, beating the Steelers because the Steeler game won't matter because they'll be locked in.
But I don't see them being locked in. Baltimore's a game and a half out. They're on bye. Wait, who's on bye? Baltimore's on bye.
Right.
Who does Pittsburgh play this week?
Pittsburgh plays with Cleveland.
Okay, so give them a win. They'll be two up.
Yeah,
And
they're
don't
not
they?
going to lose. I'm on. By the way, that's a game I'm on because I don't see Pittsburgh getting swept by Cleveland this year. They got their snow game. The
No,
Cleveland got that win. Pittsburgh's not going to get swept by Cleveland. They're going to be
No,
up for this
Pittsburgh wins
game.
that
So
game.
that's one of
They
my
still have a
locks of the
two-game
week.
lead. They play Baltimore again. I don't. That game's Pittsburgh's going down to week 18.
You think so?
They're gonna need it. Yeah, they're gonna need it.
We'll see.
They still play Baltimore, right? Yeah, they. Do you know what Pittsburgh's schedule is the rest of the way?
That's tough.
It's tough. It's hard. They play the Chiefs.
After Cleveland, it's at Philly, at Baltimore, home Chiefs.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Even
look
if
at
they
their
win,
dude. Look at their schedule. That's what I was talking about. Look at their
I
schedule
know.
the last 4 weeks.
But that
They played
doesn't
4
mean that
straight division games.
going into the last week of the season, Pittsburgh doesn't know they're the 6, or Pittsburgh doesn't know they've won the division already, and their seeding would be set. That's all I'm
Mark,
saying. Going into week
Mark,
18, they can't get benefit by winning.
Mark, they have it. If they win this week with Baltimore on bye, they'd have a 2-game lead. The only possible way that week 18 means nothing to them is if they obviously we're giving them the win this weekend. They have to win in Baltimore. That would give them a 3-game lead, and they'd still have to win against the Eagles or the Chiefs. So you're telling me they're going to win 2 out of 3 at Philly, at Baltimore? No,
I think they have a good chance of winning at Baltimore. I don't. That's not
well,
game's not
if
a
they
done.
do,
No, they beat Baltimore every time.
So
well, they already got them once.
It's
So-
a free win.
So, like I said, but if they win at Baltimore, they have the division, right?
Not
Um,
necessarily.
Not necessarily, because they could lose to Philly, lose to Chiefs, and still only have a 1-game lead, but they'd have the tiebreak if they win. So
Right. So we'll see how, like I said, I'm just figuring the AI analytics when they're giving that, thinking that we're going to go, 4-1. I think that's in the variables. That's all.
yeah.
I don't know what the algorithm is, but I think it's considering it.
Bottom line is if they win in Baltimore, they they pretty much clinch it because they would
Yeah.
have a 3-game lead with only four
And with the
left. They get
tiebreaker,
tiebreaker.
yeah, so there's a scenario where they're division champs, they're hosting a game, and they don't, and our game doesn't mean anything. So you rest guys and get ready for the next week. You're not gonna have the week off.
Yep.
So
No, 100%, 100%. But
so
yeah, I'm still
that's a
saying it's a tall task to go to Baltimore.
that's
But
to me that's more likely than us beating Denver.
I'm not sold on Denver yet.
All right, my
So
score prediction is 31-27 Bengals.
all right, you were close. 34-26, 31-24. All right, what do you got? So all this is telling you that the over 49.5 is a good bet. That's what you're telling on your game this week, because that's the over-under on the Bengal game.
I think you guys have way too much faith in in our defense. I'm going to go a little higher. I've got 38-35, and I'll give one to the Bengals.
There you go.
38-35 Bengals.
So, all right,
think,
there you have
you
it.
know what? CeeDee Lamb has looked awful the last couple of
And
weeks.
he's a little banged up.
Dreadful.
So,
I think he's a lot banged up.
right.
He looked dreadful, got benched on Thanksgiving, 3 drops. That only means he's going for 12 receptions, 220, and 3 touchdowns again.
There you go. There you go. Yeah. Well, we're the bounce back team. So it's sad, but you go, oh, okay, we'll bounce back. Their defense is terrible. Well, like I said, I mean, you watched it this season. I'm not telling you anybody watching this show. We're not giving you any news here in terms of our defense sucks. So, all right.
And
Well,
the only
have
thing,
it.
the one thing we didn't talk about at all, the one scary thing on this game, I think Micah Parsons is healthy. He scares the shit out of me, and just keep Joe clean and get Joe to, well, shit, I don't even care about next week. Get Joe to training camp in 2025.
Yeah. Oh, no. Yeah. I'm not thinking this is about, don't have anything major happen. Overshown has also been a stud. So he's got big playability, as we saw. I have him on my fantasy team, and he's just been a beast the last few weeks. So especially with the tip ball to himself and the touchdown.
That
So
was a
he's
cool
an
play.
athletic
That was a
guy.
great play.
Yeah, he's an athletic guy. So don't sell him short. All right.
And don't kick the ball to Turpin. That guy
Yeah,
stays
no, I kick
back there.
out of the end zone each time. If they drop one in and let that guy return it, that would be like the stupidest thing. I'm not putting it past us. I'm just saying, kick it out every time. Shouldn't be a problem just kicking it into the end zone every time and having him take it at the 30. I'll take that every
Also,
time.
I don't know if you guys know this. We haven't brought this up yet. One of their new pass rushers, or I guess not new, but one of their pass rushers who's playing for them since DeMarcus Lawrence is out is our old friend Carl Lawson.
Yeah, Lawson's there and Mike Zimmer. So just in terms of reunions, we've got Zimmer as their DC. So, I've seen
Is Lawson
pictures.
playing a lot, Jake, or is he just like a
Yeah,
third?
He did. Oh yeah, no, he played a lot on Thanksgiving.
Oh boy.
He's their second or third guy on the edge.
Oh, the revenge game scares me.
Revenge games. Well, we all saw, what was it, Jerry Jeudy.
Jerry Jeudy on Monday night.
Yeah, he he had something to say. So
he went from the 30th ranked receiver in yards to the 5th ranked receiver on Monday night.
wow. No, like I said, it just that factor's always there. Revenge is a heavily motivating thing. So revenge is always there, and we've got we'll see Lawson. Yes, thank you for bringing that up. So if you please put your score predictions in the comments. Really curious to see what you guys think as well. And obviously we all have just told you that the 49.5 over is a good bet. So there you go. Jake, before we go, what do you got on college for us? I'm really curious about if you like Boise or not.
I can tell you what his pick's going to be. He's big on this one.
Go. Let me hear it. Let me hear it.
Tonight's game, Jake? Is that your number one?
Yeah. Tonight's game. UNLV. I mean, it's the second time because should have been right the last time I took UNLV over Boise. UNLV is going to win tonight. Georgia will win tomorrow. That's all I'll say for tomorrow's games at least. But tonight, yeah, I think that Boise being a big, I know it's in Boise, because of stupid Grouper 5 host sites. Why does the MAC get to host the Why is the MAC a neutral site, but the Mountain West can't be at a neutral site? Anyways, yeah, I think UNLV is gonna win tonight. I think UNLV has been the better team for the last like 2 months, so I can't believe they're getting almost a touchdown in this game.
Right.
So yeah,
But it was three and
UNLV
a
is gonna win
half, I
tonight.
thought.
It's up to like 4.5.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
agree with it at all. Um, yeah, it's a big position I have tonight. I think that people are getting a little too premature with the Boise's gonna be the 3 seed. They're gonna get a bye. I think some stuff could happen with potentially the 12 seed in the bracket if UNLV ends up winning this, and then Clemson wins, and maybe Bama sneaks in there somehow, or SMU wins and then Bama gets the 12, or UNLV is the 11. There's a lot
Right.
that can happen.
There's a lot of complaining about the bubble and teams that are going to be left out, but I just want to remind everybody, at least we're putting 12 teams forward this year. Okay? I mean, it's not like prior years where you had teams that were, what would be the 7, 8, 9 teams that were left out.
Yeah,
So,
but none of those. But it's the same shit. Like I don't mind 12, but the practicality of what the format is right now is ridiculous. I mean, it's stupid. Like you can't tell me South Carolina is not a top 12 team in one of the 12 best teams in the country. It's bullshit. And I don't know how you can argue to me that Tennessee is. I mean, or Indiana. Like how? So it's a dumb system. It's
well,
a dumb
but
system that rewards teams who play clowns all year and then get blown out on with the best team on their schedule, and then they just are suddenly worthy of being in the playoff because they haven't lost twice.
agreed.
Stupid.
I completely agree with everything you just said, and it's the first year. So they're going to be tweaking this system a little bit. I mean, this is kind of because I also don't understand how they're allocating the bye weeks. I'm sitting there
Well,
looking at
That's
here's
the
look.
biggest crime.
No, here's how you fix it. I mean, I will say this until they fix it. Here's how you fix it. Everybody wants more games. Okay, why are we giving a bid to the group of five team? Let there be a group of five playoff. Just have Boise, UNLV, Tulane, and whoever wins
Army.
the Sun Belt. Just 4 team group of five playoff. There's 3 extra games just like that. Why are we giving a bid to a group of five team? Because most of the years there's not going to be a team that is as good as people think Boise is. Like most of the time, a group of five teams is gonna be a 2-3 loss team that hasn't beaten anybody. I mean, that's how it is this year. But so do that. Have an extra at large go to a team that deserves it. And then the buys should be the 4 highest ranked teams. You can give automatic bids to the conference champions, so those games still have meaning. The ACC game would have meaning this week. The Big 12 game would have meaning this week. Just don't give them buys. Why are we giving the Big 12 champion literally the same exact reward the SEC champion gets? It doesn't make any it doesn't make any
right,
sense. The only argument is that the games people want those conference championship games to matter because there's only 4 of them now because we expanded. But you can make them matter, but why are we giving them buys?
right,
The whole point of the bracket is to make the 1 seed uh the best reward, is to make the buys a reward. Instead, there's a shit ton of things that can happen that can move around the seeds. Now with these, if you're the 6 seed, you want Boise as the 3 seed. If you're normally the 6 seed, you don't want the 3 seed. To so it makes the seeding more like a lottery instead of actually understanding how brackets are supposed to work.
And
right,
to that point, Jake, and we've talked about this ad nauseum, if SMU wins, SMU likely gets the 3, Boise would have the 4, which means whoever the 5 is, which is the best non-conference winner, so it'll be Ohio State, Penn State, they will play the 12 seed, which could be very likely the winner of the Big 12 and Boise in the second round, whereas
Right.
the
Well, the 12 seed also could be Alabama.
it could.
yeah,
No, it absolutely could. But it also could be Arizona State and then Boise to get to the semis, whereas the number 1 seed has to beat the winner of something that could be Alabama or Tennessee
Well,
against
no,
Notre Dame.
it's going to
right.
be
And I'm just
Tennessee against the 8-9 is going to be Tennessee over. I can guarantee you right now. I think the 8-9 is going to be Ohio State hosting Tennessee.
Yeah,
how's Ohio? I will dive.
They
We'll go
already
off that.
dropped,
But to
dude.
8? Oh, because the bye
They're at
seats.
8 right
Right,
now.
right,
That's
right.
where they
yeah,
are right
Got
now.
yeah.
They don't play
SMU
this
and
week, so they're not
Boise
going to.
jump. Yeah, because they're
No,
only
Yeah,
5 or 6.
but
and
But
And look, and
I
before
think
we
so.
jump this, I mean, no, I don't want to toot my own horn. I think I'm in the 99 percentile of like understanding rankings and like seedings and how this bracket is actually going to work. There is 0% chance that Penn State falls behind Ohio State, that they drop Penn State below Ohio State. Penn State will be the 5 unless they get blown out. And if they get blown out, then Notre Dame will be the 5. Penn State, sorry, or Texas. If Texas loses, if Texas loses, they're the 5. If Texas wins, Penn State, regardless of result, will be the 5.
Unless they win.
Right.
Unless they win, then they're the 1 unless Texas also wins. Texas is the 1 with the win. If Texas loses, then Penn State is the 1 with a win. Penn State will be either 1 or 5.
And then, like
Unless they lose by 4.
Penn State ain't
Then,
jumping Texas if Texas wins.
correct. If both teams win, Penn State will not jump Texas. I don't think. You can make an argument because Penn State beat the number 1 team, but I think the fact, and
Georgia's
there's
got enough
precedent.
brand name that
There's
Texas gets credit
there's
for that.
precedent for like, I mean, this happened with Oklahoma against Texas years ago. They avenged their only loss. The committee cares about that shit like
I
that,
remember that
avenging
one.
your only loss.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
No. Well, like I said, they'll tweak this. This is year 1, so they'll be
better.
tweaking this, and let's see. But it's still,
Yeah.
I'm still a proponent that it's better to have 12 teams in the mix than what we had before. So,
I
albeit,
agree.
albeit flawed.
Yes,
So,
but look, I'm surprised I'm the only one who's like I have not seen anybody recommend a 4-team group of 5 playoff. Those games would matter. Those teams would care. There will never be a group of 5 team ever in this day and age of college sports where all the watered down transfers are going to Power 4 programs. There will never be a
Correct.
group of 5 team that can win a national championship. There will never be a group of 5 team that can win a title, especially in this format. They have to win 3 games. At most years they have to win 4. No, there will never be a group of 5 team that can win a title. Why are we giving them an automatic bid? It's a waste of a spot.
right. Well, my thing, I want the games this week to matter more. I mean, there are games, literally conference championships, where both teams are going to go in regardless, and I want this week to have a bigger weight. I think needs to.
Well, I think they did that because these teams, Texas and Georgia, they're playing for a bye or a home
Right.
game, or they're fall to 9 and 10, and then they're on the road and have to go to Notre Dame or Tennessee. So that I think we have. They've successfully done that, but the rankings is a real problem.
Yeah. So,
How they
all
see
right.
them.
If you don't subscribe, please subscribe. It's all we ask to show by fans, for fans. We only ask you to support the channel. So please hit the thumbs up on this video and subscribe. And Jake, tell them where they can find your stuff again.
Jake Circus Pod on Spotify.
There you go. So we will be here right after the game on Monday night. So enjoy your games on Sunday and enjoy all the college football. It's a great weekend of sports. So, enjoy all that. We'll see you after the game Monday night. And I'm going to say, "Who dare, everybody?" Take care.